Hey, how you doing? This is RJ. Today I want to start by thanking all of my subscribers, new and old, and thanking the people too that click on my videos every once in a while and listen to them, because the point of my channel is to get ideas out there, is to start discussions, and hopefully we can use these ideas to demand a better product and maybe even build a better industry. And that's what I hope to do. And for my channel, I am actually reaching a lot of people. I actually have a view count, which for a comic channel is usually at the level of someone with twice my amount of subscriptions. So I'm actually getting those ideas out there, which is great. And what I want to talk about today is something that kind of got pulled out of my numbers for my subscribers and my videos. And it's something that we all know in the back of our minds, but I think needs to be pulled into the light every once in a while and make sure everybody really remembers it. And it's the fact that our voices as critics of this comic industry that we have now, and I would say any industry, any fandom that is really driving itself into the ground with this quote-unquote progressive attitude, with wokeness, with SJWs, and all of this other garbage that's going on, any fandom, your voices and our voices are being silenced. And everybody knows that. But I want to reiterate that just once again and talk about it just a little bit in respect to my channel. So when I began my channel, when I had like 20 subscribers and that was it, I was trying to figure out how YouTube worked and how its algorithms works, because everything works according to a computer system, algorithms. Really, there's no human beings interacting with all of this information. It's just computers. And I was trying to figure out things, and something happened which I really didn't understand, and it was that I was looking at the view numbers for specific videos that I had, and sometimes they would go down. And it just seemed really bizarre to me. I could see losing subscribers, but I only had like 40 people listening to a video, and after I would get to that number, then I'd go back to it a day later and it would say I had 32. And I'm thinking, how can a video be unwatched? That's just ridiculous. And I actually put that question out there, and the only one who really gave me any kind of a response was Doug Ernst, and him and I shared a short conversation, and he thought possibly it was because, they try to eliminate bots and things like that on YouTube, so they erase subscriptions every once in a while. And he hypothesized, and it seemed like a good hypothesis to me, that perhaps when these bot systems get erased, some of their views get erased. Still, I thought to myself, okay, that sounds a little bit like it might be the case, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to take a really good look at all of the stuff that happens from now on with my channel. So what I do is I'm really not concerned that much with the numbers, as to say I don't really care how high they go, but I do keep a really good eye on them just to see if anything funny happens. And so when I look at my dashboard and it shows me all of my views and all of the views for each of the videos, especially the new ones, I open a new tab and I compare it to the old one that I had opened last time to see what the changes were. Now, this is the way, and again, this is supposition on my part because no one really knows this for sure, but this is the way it appears to me that the algorithms for YouTube work. You have to get a certain number of views in a certain amount of time, and if you can do that, then the algorithm will grab your video and put it out to more and more people, and then if it keeps on grabbing people and views within a certain amount of time, it will promote it more and more and more, and it snowballs, so that the more views you get in a short amount of time, the more views you're going to get in a short amount of time. And that's how YouTube makes money, because they sell all the information of the people who click on specific videos. That's what happens. And as far as I can tell, there is a number threshold, because again, it's all computers. So there's a number threshold which you have to reach in order for the algorithm to grab your video and then push it out to more people. And roughly, I would say the algorithm does this. If you can reach 1,000 views within 12 hours, it will grab it and put it into a higher bracket of viewing, so that your video is exposed to people who don't actually usually look at your videos. And so when I put out a video the other day, my last video, which was Brie Larson talking about "You're the next phase in the revolution," I put the normal tags on it and I did the video, and I thought to myself, that's not my best effort. I really think I could have done better. I didn't think it was going to do very well. And I put it up at 6:05 Pacific time 6:05 in some seconds, because YouTube actually records down to the second, right? So I thought it wasn't going to do very well. So I was up at 4 o'clock Pacific time, and I said to myself, I'll check it to see how it's doing. And at that time, it had 994 views. And I went through all of the comments and things like that just to check it, just to see. And I thought to myself, okay, I have another 2 hours to go before the 12-hour mark. Obviously, I only need 6 views. I'm going to get those within the next 2 hours, and it's going to grab this video and put it into a higher bracket. And it's actually going to do fairly well for one of my videos. And then something weird happened, because I was staying up, so I thought to myself, I'll check it every once in a while, because I only needed 6 views, so I thought I'll check and see how long it takes to get 6 views. And so I would do my thing. I would open a new tab. I would never shut down the other tabs. I usually have like hundreds of tabs going on my computer, by the way. Anyways, so I would open a new tab. And the thing is that the views never went up. But the likes and the comment numbers kept on going up. And I said to myself, hey, wait a minute. How does that work? Because you have a bunch of different ways that you can calculate views on YouTube. They give you the analytics, which is usually at least a day to 2 days behind. You have your sub and view count at the top of your dashboard, and that's usually a half hour behind at least. But then you have on every specific video, they give you the number of views. And that thing is instantaneous. And I have actually tried this with a number of different things. You know, when I have unpublished videos, whenever I go to edit them, you know, that's one click and it just shows up immediately. And I go to some of my other accounts that I used to have and try and click on a private video to see if it instantaneously works as a view that's counted, and it does. So I'm saying to myself, how in the world can the likes for this video be going up and the comments for this video be going up and the number of views for this video not be going up? Because in order to like it, in order to leave a comment, first you gotta click on the darn thing. But it never moved from 994. And I made sure that it wasn't anything within the comments or within the likes themselves, because the comments kept on showing up in the successive tabs that I opened. You know, the new comments went to the top of my comment list. They were getting logged in, so it wasn't that. It wasn't something to do with the comments or the likes. There was something stopping my video from reaching 1,000 views within that 12 hours. And after I noticed this was going on, and I checked it a couple of times, you know, every 20 minutes or so, I decided that I would check it every hour at least until the 12-hour mark. And guess what happened? As soon as it ticked over the 12-hour mark. As soon as it ticked over the 12-hour mark, all of those views, which had been held up, actually miraculously appeared on my dashboard. And since it was sort of the middle of the night, and there wasn't a whole lot of views, but enough certainly to drive me over 1,000, I could tell exactly how many views were going to come up, because they were exactly the same number as the people who hit like. Exactly the same number. So, what was going on with my video? So obviously, something, probably another computer program, was stopping my video from reaching that 1,000 mark within the 12 hours. And as soon as that 12 hours elapsed, and the algorithm would not grab it because it didn't reach it within 12 hours, then my views started to pop up in my dashboard. So obviously, my video was being held back from being promoted. And I would say because, well, there is an actual Brie Larson tab, because it was about Brie Larson, right? And when you go to the YouTube page and you check it, you know, you have things like television, movies, anime, comics. There's now one for Brie Larson. And since I tagged my video as Brie Larson, I'm assuming that some computer system said to itself, okay, it's called Brie Larson, but there's something negative within the title itself. Therefore, we're not going to allow this video to reach 1,000 before the 12-hour mark, because if it does, it's going to be captured by the other algorithm, which is going to say promote this thing a lot more. So I thought that was a fun thing to share with you because, well, first of all, I don't care, right? I actually really don't care. This isn't me complaining about how YouTube works. I really don't care. If YouTube actually wants to hinder my progress, if it says to me with all of this stuff that I have to work twice as hard as any woke channel in order to put out my videos and be successful with my videos, then Challenge accepted. I will make my videos better. I will do all that I can to make my videos better, to make sure that they get out there to other people in different ways. My stuff will be twice as good as any progressive channel before it gets to the same level, and that just makes my content better. But the thing is this, really what we have to concentrate on. You know, there might be a perfectly logical answer to this that I have no clue about, but the number of coincidences, if that's the case, are just stacking up one after another after another after another with this specific thing that happened. Because it was right after, to the moment of that 12-hour mark, that all of those views actually caught up. So our criticisms, our negative voices towards things like Brie Larson and this new Captain Marvel movie and any other fandom out there, I would say as well, are being silenced. We should really call that to mind every once in a while. And the thing is that as comic fans, we know this. We have known this for a long time now. It was the early 2000s when the comic message boards started to get taken over by these progressive, woke, SJW type people. And us normal people who wanted to talk about comics and criticize them and say, stop putting this quote unquote progressive drivel into our comics, I just want to be entertained. Well, we were kicked out of all of those message boards. You know, slowly at first, we were told to shut up at first, and then our comments were deleted, and then we were simply kicked out. And that happened a long time ago with comics. But the thing is that right now, other fandoms are experiencing the same thing that we experienced almost 20 years ago. Because I'm listening to a lot of people who frequent anime boards now. And with the whole controversy that's going around with the anime voice actors today, they seem to be very confused in saying, hey, wait a minute, why am I being blocked from posting comments? Why can't we talk about this on the anime boards? Why are some of our comments actually being edited so that some words are deleted or changed to something completely different? What is going on with this fandom? Why is this happening? And they're asking that question now. And that's a question we in comics asked nearly 20 years ago. So really, here's the point of this video. I think there's three things that we really need to understand and always keep in the forefront of our minds. Number one, being that our voices are being silenced, or at the very least downplayed, so that it doesn't get out there. All right? But if we look at the bigger channels like Diversity in Comics or Comics Matter, whatever you want to call it, and he has over 100,000 subscribers now, we know that our voices are not the minority. Because part of why they're trying to silence our voices is to say that, look, you're just a fringe. You people are not actually the norm. You people are not actually mainstream fans whatsoever. You're a bunch of kooks. That's part of what they're trying to do. But we need to realize that no, if we are able to generate a channel, like Zach's channel, that has over 100,000 subscribers, while our voices are being silenced, can you imagine what the actual number of people who have the same ideas that we do is? We are the majority. We are not the minority. We are not the fringe element. We are the majority. And I think that's something that we should never forget. Number two, I think that we should always remember that if you want to make an impact, you need to vote with your dollar. You need to express your voice through your dollar bill. Because that's something that they try to avoid looking at, but they really, really can't. Because at the end of the day, the numbers do count. And you can use it in a number of different ways. I mean, if you feel like you really have to go see the Captain Marvel movie in order to understand the next Avengers movie, but you really don't want to go see it, well, I've heard a lot of people say this, and what they say is, why don't you just go pay for Alita again, because that's a good movie, and walk into the Captain Marvel movie instead. That way you give your money to an actual good movie, and you still get to see the movie that you feel that you need to, but really don't want to see. Be creative, you know? And that goes for anybody, any kind of fandoms. But certainly for comics, I would say, if you have a pull list, really take a hard look at it. At least every 6 months. And the things that are on the bubble, cancel them. I mean, 2 or 3 comics a month, if you cancel them, you could take that money and go buy a good crowdfunded comic. You know, vote with your dollar, express what you need to say through your dollar bill. And the third thing is this, and I realized this a long time ago when I was studying history, because that was my first passion to study history. Whenever you look in history and see an event where people's voices are being silenced, guess what happens to those people's voices? Usually, those people start to yell. Because people really don't like being silenced. They really don't. And you can see it through all of the history of mankind. People want a voice. And they will push back if people try to silence their voices. So the third thing I really think that we need to realize is that if you really, really want to speak up for your fandom and try to defend it, with these people that are silencing our voices, you have to realize that speaking up is simply not going to be enough. You're going to have to start yelling. So, hopefully I've given you something new to think about. If I did, hit like, hit the shield in the lower right-hand corner of your screen to subscribe, and leave me a comment. Tell me if you've experienced your voice, your criticism of your fandom being silenced. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.